What's up, everybody? This is Chase with Energy to Conquer, and today is day 40, day 40 on my experimental journey to increasing my energy, my mental clarity, and my overall focus. Guys, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, look, if you struggle with energy, if you want more energy, if you feel like you don't have the capacity, the mental clarity, the focus, the drive, the passion to do more in your life, to do the things that you know that you should be doing, that you know that you could be doing, but you just don't feel good, like you just don't feel like it, right? You don't have the capacity. Like, that's what this channel is about, is helping you overcome that problem, right? So if that's something you struggle with, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you find any value in this content, be sure to like, be sure to comment below. That'll help me reach more people with this content. But look, guys, today's all about crash diets and why they don't work. We all know those people in our lives. Maybe it's us, right? But they're all constantly doing these different diets, and their weight's going up and down, up and down, up and down, and they never can seem to have long-term results, no matter what program they do, right? And we all know it. And like I said, it's more likely us, right? If you're watching this video, we all struggled with it, especially get to middle age. And there's a real easy explanation for that on why it don't work, but most people go through their whole life never figuring it out. And some people go through these diets, and they'll do 2 or 3 of these diets, you know, every year. You'll see them one day, right? They're on a diet, and next thing you know, they're looking good. They're down, you know, 20 pounds, and then you'll see them 2 months later, and they're back to where they was at, if not weighing more, because they got off the diet. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that happens. So look, guys, I'll tell you a little story real quick. So probably, I'm going to say 10 years ago, my wife and I, we did a 30-day juice fast. We watched, it was Sick, Fat, and Nearly Dead. I didn't think about that one for a minute. Sick, Fat, and Nearly Dead. You can look it up on YouTube. It's a documentary. I think it's not YouTube, but on Netflix. You can find it. It's somewhere out there on the internet. It's a documentary. Basically, the guy had all these health problems, and he does 30-day juice fast, and he's driving around America getting people to try juice and trying to get other people to do it. But basically, it's a 30-day detox. We was doing it for this detox just to kind of get healthy, right? To supercharge our health was the reason we was doing it. But in that process, you know, we lost a lot of weight, because you're losing about I don't know, probably about 1 pound a day overall doing it. So we had these really quick weight loss, right? And I ain't saying it's a good weight loss, because I'm sure we was consuming a lot of muscle, so protein, right? The protein deficit, I'm sure we was consuming muscle mass at some point, at some level. But the people around us saw these results, right? So a lot of people started doing it, and some people did it for the right reasons, but a lot of people started doing it for the wrong reasons, to lose the weight, and it became a weight loss thing. And what happened was, and actually the same thing happened with me and my wife, like, you know, you do it and you get the big results, but then, you know, it's just a matter of time before the weight comes right back. And there's a reason for that, and that's the reason every single person that you know that's doing these crash diets, like 99% of these people are not getting long-term results. And it's like their weight is just constantly on that seesaw. It's just up and down, up and down, up and down over the years, right? And they struggle with weight their whole life. And guys, I'm going to give you the secret to this, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do to fix it and why this is happening. And it's these fad diets, they get people quick results. And so everybody around them is like, oh, they want to do, I see that working for you, I want to try it. But they're not looking long term at what this is happening. They just see the quick and now, and then they want the quick fix. So what is a crash diet? Just to clarify that. So a crash diet is any diet that gets you quick results in a short amount of time. And so what do we want in our society? We want quick fixes. None of us want to do a diet for 6 months or a year. There's a diet plan that comes out that sells you on a year plan, right, to lose 30 pounds. No one's buying it. But if you can lose 30 pounds in 2 months or 1 month, right? If you can do that, people are going to buy it like crazy, right? They're going to be signing up left and right to try this diet program. And like I said, 99% of them are going to do it. They're going to lose some weight, but they're going to end up right back where they're at. And the reason that is because these diets are very restricting, and usually a lot of times they're restricting even healthy foods to get the calorie deficit, because it all comes back to calorie deficit. You have to burn more calories than you consume, and a lot of these diets are very calorie restricting, which makes it hard to stick to, especially if you're not used to that. Because you know, if you can have a deficit of 400 or 500 calories, 600 calories every day, of course you're going to lose weight quicker than if you're only a deficit of 100 calories. And so the thing to fix that, the reason is they get on these diets, right? And the diet, they get off the diet, but they've got no default. And that's the secret right there, is the default. They've never took time. They've never had the discipline, right? They don't have the knowledge. They don't have a default. Their default is crap food. It's a crap diet. It's probably a high calorie diet. And that's the reason they got to the point they needed to do the crash diet and get the results so quick. And so they do the crash diet, but then guess what? As soon as they fall off the crash diet, whether they complete it or whether they quit it, they go back to that default that got them to the point of needing to do the crash diet in the first place. And so their weight is just going right back up to where it was at when they started, because they never established the default. So look guys, if you want to get long-term results, you've got to establish a default. And I'm not saying these crash diets don't work, because they do work, but the problem is you don't have a default. And if you're doing these things and the results are not permanent, it's because you don't have a default to maintain. Like, you've got to maintain a healthy weight, a healthy lifestyle. And if you've never took time and invested time to learn those disciplines, like, you're just going back to junk food or inactive lifestyle, right? When you get off these diets. But if you've got that default, it's almost like you got to reset that default in your mind. Once you reset that default to this is my new normal, then whenever you do a crash diet, guess what? Whenever you fall off that diet, you come back to your default, and there you go. You know, if you want to get the results fast. But you really don't even need a crash diet to begin with. You just need to get on a healthy, sustainable diet. I'm on 75 hard. I'm on a diet. You know, I haven't went much into my diet because it's kind of complicated, and I may make some videos on that coming up. I'm definitely going to go over it, but just know your diet's got to be sustainable, right? You've got to have fruits, you've got to have vegetables. I've talked about that many times. You can go back through my past videos, but you've got to have those into your diet, because those are the fillers. Like your salads, like just eating salads, it's so healthy for you. It gets you the vitamins and minerals you need, but it's also low calorie food, so you can eat a lot of it and you can get full, but you can also still help you restrict your calories. You can't go eat McDonald's and get really full and restrict your calories. You're going to have to skip meals to make that work. And I'm not saying you should do that by any means, and I'm not saying it's healthy by any means, because it's very unhealthy. But if you're trying to restrict calories by eating food like that, you're going to have to miss meals and starve yourself. Whereas if you can use salads, water-rich fruits and vegetables, you know, some vegetables depending on the diet you're on, some fruit, I mean, maybe a lot, but honestly, if you get to consume the fruits, it'll kill a lot of the cravings, and you won't have the sugar cravings and all these other cravings, the carb cravings, you know, the breads, like the pastas. Like, you need to replace that with fruit, and it's going to be a lot easier to digest. It's going to give you more energy because it's going to digest quicker. It's going to be less toll on your system, but also it's going to be a lot less calories. So you can eat almost as much as you want. You can eat fruit till your belly hurts, right? And it's probably not going to wreck your diet. Whereas if you go eat cake till your belly hurts or something, it's going to wreck your diet. So you've got to establish a default, and you've got to have those disciplines in place. Else you're just kind of pissing in the wind, so to say, right? Because it's just blowing back on you, right? It's kind of a gross analogy, but that's what's happening, right? Because you've never took the time to establish your default. And once you get that default, you're not going to need a crash diet. But if you want to jump on a crash diet, jump on it. Then you can just come back to your default. Like, if you want to get some results quick in a couple months, jump on a crash diet, come back to your default and maintain and sustain, right? That's the whole game, because it doesn't matter how much weight you can lose in 2 or 3 months. If you can't sustain it after that fact, you're just going right back where you was at. So you might as well jump on something that's going to take you 6 months or a year or 2 years that you can maintain for the rest of your life. right? So you got to replace a lot of these junk carbs, processed foods, with fruits and vegetables that are low calorie, and you can consume a lot of them, and you can use those to kind of filler foods for your meals. That way you're not starving, and you're not starving yourself, and your stomach's full, and your body's getting the nutrients it needs, so it won't crave as much, right? And I've got another videos on that. You can go back and look at those. Like, a big part of those cravings and just can't get enough food to eat, and you're always hungry, is because your body is not getting the vitamins and nutrients it needs. Sometimes it's the macros, but a lot of times it's just you're lacking vitamins and minerals, and your body's trying to get it out of the food you're eating. And so your body's saying you're hungry, you're hungry, you're hungry, because it's needing whatever this is you're missing, and you keep just putting food that's nutritionally void in your mouth that doesn't have what it needs, and your body digests it and said, I need more, I need more, I need more to get whatever this your deficit of. So you've got to get the vitamins and minerals that your body needs, and you've got to eat foods that's going to give them that. So guys, that's the crash diet. It's a big thing, is you've got to reset your default. You've got to invest the time, you've got to invest the energy. You just got to figure out a plan that changes your default, because if you don't have a default, I don't care what you do, whenever you get off of what you're doing, like if it's not sustainable, if it's not a way, I guess, if it's not a long-term plan that's going to be your default, that can be your new default, it's never going to work. Like, you can't stay on these crash diets forever. Number one, you're going to have health problems from most of them. But number two is, it's so damn restricting, eventually you're going to run out of willpower. Your motivation and willpower is not going to be able to keep up. It's only going to last for so long. For a lot of people, they can keep that up if they're really just uncomfortable. They can keep that willpower at bay, right, and keep pushing forward for a month, 2, 3, some people 6 months, some people a year. But eventually it's going to run out, and you're going to get burnt out on being so restrictive. So you got to get that out of your mind, and you've got to start giving your body what it needs. So number one, it don't want as much, but number two, you can use it as filler foods, so you don't feel like you're starving while you're in that transition. So that's all I got, guys. That's why crash diets don't work. That's why, as long as you keep doing them without setting a default, without having a default, without the default disciplines in place, without the default knowledge in place on how to maintain it, you're just kind of wasting your time for the most part, and you're just going to go up and down on that seesaw, and continue to go up and down on that seesaw, and you're never going to get the big results or the long-term results, sustainable results that you're wanting. And so guys, you just got to reset the default. That's the problem with these diets, is you didn't have a default to begin with, jumped on a crash diet, fell off the crash diet or finished the crash diet, and went back to your old default that got you in the situation to need to do a crash diet in the first place. That's all I got, guys. Hope you have a blessed day.